This is Eagle Al, and today I will be talking about Jalen Carter. Can he do something since Reggie White? And also, Nick Wright out here hating again. But let's get straight into it. All right, so you know me. Usually I go back and look at my last video, and I go back and look at the news, see what I miss. And what I miss is that Dallas Goedert actually did not practice yesterday. Should we be worried? Just a little bit, because the game is coming up very, very soon. We do got 4 tight ends on the roster. Does that mean Dallas Goedert nicked up a little bit? Maybe, maybe not. Is it just a rest day? Maybe. But we got to wait for the injury report to come out to see if it's actually an injury. Was it a rest day? But he had his ball cap on and like he was watching practice, but he did not participate at all. That's really odd for the game to be coming up soon, and Dallas got it not there. So definitely something to watch. I can't lie, as an Eagles fan, a little bit concerned, but if it was serious, they probably would have spoke on that during a press conference. And yeah, maybe he just needed a rest day. I don't know. Maybe something got nicked up, but more than likely he should be ready week 1. But again, my little concern, a little bit, just a little bit. All right, so let's get into Jalen Carter. Will Jalen Carter make history? Will he do something since Reggie White? What do you mean by that, Eagle Al? All right, so Fox put out their projection of Defensive Rookie of the Year. And they had Jalen Carter. Yeah, this image. Hopefully, it comes true. Jalen Carter. He will win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Not only that, he's projected to get double-digit sacks. Now, if we get double-digit sacks the way Jalen Carter played, and we get some production and run stopping, that means in his first year, he was better than Javon Hargrave. But the last Eagle to do that is Reggie White. Now, I hate this comparison. I hate comparing rookies to legends. Sometimes I do it like if I see hints of it. But Reggie White was different. I mean, he had seasons where he had like 21 sacks. His rookie season, he had like 13. Even when he left us, Green Bay, he was a dog. Like Reggie White is different. That's a hard thing to live up to, man. Not only that, Jalen Carter do have a lot of pressure on him. He's probably not going to start. So not being a starter and getting double-digit sacks is very, very impressive. But I believe as the season go, he will be the unofficial starter. I think they have Jalen Carter and Fletcher Cox like starting the first series or two. But I think Jalen Carter is going to be the guy to finish the game. So yeah, let me say this, for him to get double-digit sacks in this deep defensive line will be insane, because if he get double-digit and then Hassan and Josh Sweat get double digits, that's like probably like 30, 40 sacks just between them. That's not including the sacks that Fletcher Cox might get, Milton Williams, maybe Jordan Davis get a sack or two. We know he's really just a primary run stuffer. But man, if he could give us that production, we basically got an upgraded Javon Hargrave on a cheap deal for the next couple years. That means we got Javon Hargrave, an upgraded one, basically very cheap on the rookie deal for the next couple years. Yes, that will have a lot of GMs pissed off. Like, you know what? Maybe we should have took that risk, because you got to think like guys like Will Anderson, the cornerback that got drafted to Seattle. Bears took an offensive lineman. Teams passed up on them, but I think the Raiders passed up on them. Like, yo, and that's just gonna make them look crazy. I'm telling you, Jalen Carter might cause some GMs to lose their job, because owners gonna look like, shoot, we should have took him. We don't hear nothing about him in Philly. We don't hear him doing nothing bad. All we hear is that he's a fun-loving guy, playing football, out of trouble. So yeah, man, cause these dudes to lose. Not in that way, but I'm saying like if he's that good and the owner's thinking about firing the GM, call some of these dudes to be in the hot seat. I would say I was about to say call some of these dudes to lose their job, but put some of these dudes on the hot seat. Jalen Carter, please do that. All right. So let's talk about Nick Wright. It's Nick Wright. Back hating again. Yeah, he's back at it. All of a sudden, he's this Cowboys apologist. In my personal opinion, I personally believe he thinks Jalen Hurts is the biggest threat to Patrick Mahomes. So now it's like, oh, I don't really mess with him. I don't really rock with him. The Eagles are going to fall off because of this, that, and the other. But let me go ahead and play the clip of him, quote unquote, hating on the Eagles.
Number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles. I have them back in the playoffs, but not the dominant team they were last year. You worry about them up the middle of the defense after the defensive line. They don't prioritize safety. They don't prioritize that inside linebacker. I understand those aren't glamour positions, but that team can got there. And if they do not have 70 sacks again, you worry about their pass defense. I worry about the maturity of their head coach, and I worry about how well they have done over the last 2 years against any team that has a pulse from a passing perspective. They are a great defense, but that has feasted on some very bad passing attacks. When they have faced real quarterbacks, the defense hasn't looked quite as good. And as good as Jalen was, I don't know that I expect him to be an MVP candidate again. So that's how you go from 14 wins down to probably 10 wins. And then winning the division, and the team that I think will have the best record in the NFC, the Dallas Cowboys. They have, I believe, the best.
Wrong again. Wrong again, Nick Wright. So let's attack your points. You said something about the defense that we don't prioritize the middle, meaning the linebackers and the safeties, right? After the defensive line. Okay, so what do you call signing Miles Jack and Zach Cunningham? What do you call that? Okay, we get Zach Cunningham, pair him up with Nakobe Dean, who we drafted in the 3rd round. So a couple years ago, I probably would have agreed with you, but right now I don't agree with you. Second, it's not my fault you don't know who Reed Blankenship is, but look him up. Got a higher PFF rating than CJ Gardner-Johnson. We drafted a safety in the 3rd round. We signed a Terrell Edmonds, who was a decent safety with the Steelers. So we do prioritize it. It's not my fault we don't have, again, the big name that you know, like a Buda Baker or something. Do your homework. Do your homework because, again, Reed Blankenship is good. And you talking about our pass defense? No, our pass defense was decent last year. But our pass defense was decent last year, but Jonathan Gannon plays was too vanilla. And by the way, we don't have the same play caller. So you got to do your homework. We don't have Jonathan Gannon. We have Sean Desai. And then you talk about coach's maturity. Yeah, Nick Sirianni could get playful and things like that, but that same quote-unquote immature Nick Sirianni got to the Super Bowl last year. So I don't know about that. Now, we was bringing in a new head coach. Maybe you have a point. And lastly, I knew you was going to come at Jalen Hurts because I will say this again. Jalen Hurts is the biggest threat to take the throne from Patrick Mahomes. Not Joe Burrow. Not, what you call him, Trevor Lawrence. That's the things Jalen Hurts can do, not only with his arm, but his legs. And he could be very, very transcending, in my personal opinion. And Nick Wright even said it. He said it. He said, if Jalen Hurts take another step, there is a possibility he can be better than Patrick Mahomes. That's why he don't agree that Jalen Hurts will take another step. But if Jalen Hurts, with this schedule, do what he did last year plus more, I'm telling you, he's the biggest threat. And we know Nick Wright's a big Kansas City fan. So just hating on Jalen Hurts it's whack. We go from 14 wins to 10 wins? Seriously? And I believe personally Jalen Hurts will be better because there were games we did not finish. Tennessee, the Steelers, he didn't play. And the Saints and the Cowboys game. The last game, did it really matter against the Giants? So that's about 4 or 5 games. So again, Nick Wright doesn't know what he's talking about. But hey, man, what do you think and how do you feel about the news today? And Nick Wright hating. Can Jalen Carter be the next Reggie White? But this is Eagle Owl. I'm up.